This video will show you how to replace your front ABS wheel speed sensor on a Chevy Malibu. This will be located behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we do is safely raise and support the front end of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground and we'll have the suspension hanging. Now once you've done that, you're going to remove all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts and then the wheel. Now that we have the wheel off, we have a clear view of our ABS wheel speed sensor wire, and as we make our way behind the brakes and the backing plate along the rearward side, we can see where the sensor is mounted to our steering knuckle. We'll use a 10mm to remove the mounting bolt. At this point, we're going to take hold of the wheel speed sensor. Attempt to give it a twist and pull it out of position. Be careful not to break it off in the steering knuckle. This can be problematic. Ours does have some movement. I'm carefully wiggling this out of position. There's our sensor. Let's go ahead and follow the wiring up towards the top of the steering knuckle next. Now up in this area, we're going to dislodge the ABS wheel speed sensor wire from the steering knuckle. For this, I'm just using a trim tool, and I'm going to pull this out of place. You can use a flat blade screwdriver if necessary. For following the ABS wheel speed sensor wire up the flex hose, you're going to find 2 plastic mounting points. For each of these, you can use a small angled pick or even a small screwdriver. Just going to use my pick here, get in between the locking tab, and just gently pry. Let's continue on. Now as we continue on forward, you're going to find that you have a mounting point here, but then the rest continues on behind the fender liner. I'm using my trim tool to pry this out of place. To make our way behind the fender liner, you're going to find that you have 3 7mm headed mounting bolts that we're going to remove. 1 up here, 2 down below. Let's start removing each of our 7mm headed mounting bolts. I'm just starting up along the top. As we remove the lower hardware, you may find that you have a plastic push clip. Our application does not. If yours does, remove that as well. Now you could carefully reach behind this area. Generally you can gain access to the connector, but it can be fairly difficult. We'll just continue on dislodging the inside fender liner so we can more easily gain access. We're using a 7mm for our lower hardware. So now we should be able to take hold of this fender liner. You can maneuver it around. We're going to have to gain access up and behind here. Just flex this as necessary. Now that we have that pulled up and out of place, we can see our next several mounting points. Use our trim tool, get these out of here. Now as we make our way towards where the connector is, you're going to find that the ABS wheel speed sensor wire has a mounting point holding it to the body. After that, we can continue on dislodging our electrical connector. Let's move this to an area that we can gain access. Now as far as this electrical connector, you're going to find that you have a small red locking tab. This needs to be pulled away from the connector. For this, I'm just using a small pocket screwdriver. You can use pretty much anything as a prying device. Once you have that pulled away, squeeze on the tab directly in the center area here where that red lock was. Disconnect the electrical connector. we go. Of course, a thorough inspection for corrosion. We can set that wiring harness aside. There it is, friend. Now, prior to installation, of course, a thorough inspection. I already mentioned to make sure there's no corrosion in the electrical connector. If you see any, it needs to be taken care of. Go ahead and quickly inspect the body of the vehicle for those mounting points. After that, we're making our way to the knuckle. We're going to make sure we clean and inspect that area as well. At the steering knuckle, we need to make sure that the port leading into the knuckle towards the bearing is clean as well. A note about this is there is a magnetic strip on the inboard side of your wheel bearing. We don't want anything getting caught on that. I'm not putting anything metal into this area. Just a quick wipe, make sure there's no corrosion or miscellaneous debris. This looks good. Now let's prepare to install the brand new ABS wheel speed sensor. We're starting with the sensor itself, so we do not cause any damage. Let's mount this into the steering knuckle. As I bring this into position, we're sliding the sensor in. It should not bind in any way. Line up the mounting bolt port. When I install my mounting bolt, I typically like to use a little bit of anti-seize. As far as this bolt, lightly snug it up. The torque is only 80 inch-pounds. It's not very much. Double check to make sure that's secure. It should not move around in any way. Let's continue on with the rest of the ABS wheel speed sensor wire. We're continuing along the top of the steering knuckle. Let's line this up. Press that straight in. Double check, make sure that's secured in place. Now we're making our way towards the body of the vehicle next. We need to make our way across the top of the flex hose. I'm just going to move this out of my way. Now, as far as when we bring this over, we need to make sure that it slides down into its plastic clip and we can secure it. If for some reason something's damaged, you can use a wire tie if necessary. Press it in, lock it down. On to the next here. Let's press this in. Now we're going to dislodge the fender liner again so we can start making our way in and behind. We're going to secure the ABS wheel speed sensor wire in place, coming down along this area. We do want to make sure it's secured as I mentioned before. It's time for the electrical connector. As far as this connector is concerned, you're going to press it in. Listen for an audible click. After that, just double check, make sure it's secured, press in that locking tab. We of course do want to make sure we're on the right side of the bracket. There's our click. It is secure. It's not sliding out of place. Lock it in. At this point, we're going to secure this entire thing to its mounting point on the body of the vehicle. There we go. One last quick inspection in this area, and we can reinstall our fender liner. So as far as the fender liner, we're going to start installing all of our mounting bolts. Typically, I like to leave the lower aspect loose. Once I have all of these in, we can continue on snugging them. You may have to maneuver it around. Make our way over. Get this aligned over here. This area, we just want to make sure we have it in the proper orientation. Coming across the bottom area, we'll start in our hardware here as well. Of course, if you do have a push pin, you can install that. Push pin, make your way up. Double check to make sure that's completely secured. You do not want this hanging loose. Driving down the road, it might hit up against your tire or cause damage. Now, one last quick inspection, and we can reinstall our wheel. We're going to get the wheel in place. Once we have it up there, go ahead and start on all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts. We're going to bottom them out in a crisscross manner. We'll get the wheel back on the ground and we can torque each lug nut to 100 foot-pounds. Now I have the wheels safely on the ground. We're going to torque these to that 100 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Torqued. Okay friend, we showed you how to install your front ABS wheel speed sensor. The process for one side of the vehicle is the exact same thing as the other. Now once you've completed your installation, if you had an ABS light, you want to make sure that you reset that. You're going to take your vehicle for a road test, listen for any odd noises. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.